That's it then. The last safety jacket is gone. United will have to do the rest themselves after dropping out of the automatics thanks to Salford's win against Bromley, meaning in all likelihood it will take 2 wins from 2 to secure promotion. We've asked it a lot in recent weeks, but really now, how are your nerves? Welcome to the preview show. Apologies for its slightly late arrival. That's due to the Salford match. We were due to record last night, but the vibes were not particularly good. Having slept on it, how do you feel this morning, Matt Caspel?
Yeah, the vibes were pretty low last night, I'm going to say. We to show everyone behind the curtain, we had planned to record, I think we're starting at 9:40 p.m. On Thursday night, which is way past my bedtime, firstly. So I'd have been quite dozy anyway, more so than usual. But I think we built that entire recording on the image that Bromley were going to beat Salford, or at least draw, and we'd be kind of like steaming into that pod, like, here we go, boys. Yeah. And instead, what happened was a pretty sobering. I watched most of the game. I'll admit I switched off at 2-0 because I'd had my fill of League Two football at that point. It was a decent football game, I thought, but from our perspective, obviously, pretty deflating stuff. So what that means is this is a genuine Friday preview.
Yes, it is. We've woken up early, genuinely, to do a Friday preview show now. So we've messed around with it all season, and here we are on a Friday morning, bleary-eyed, a little bit low, but hopefully I'm hoping by the end of this pod you're going to cheer me up a little bit, because
I'm going to try, mate.
You're going to try your best. But I honestly, to start from that Salford game, and I guess it's not the game itself, but I couldn't believe quite how flat I felt on full time. And I think an angle of that was, I had considered the fact Salford would win, but I kind of had just completely believed the world where Bromley were completely gunning for the title and they're a far better team, and Salford's last home game, they couldn't beat Gillingham. And I'd really sort of gone in for all of that more than I'd kind of realised. And in this week, we've kind of had I mentioned it in the intro, our 2 safety jackets, like you'd call them, or parachutes or whatever.
We got one more, don't worry, mate, but we'll get
What's that? Go on.
Well, Lofty's at Crawley, mate. Lofty's back.
That's the red button.
Lofty's back, that's it. And Salford obviously travels to Crawley on the last day. So you think all the safety jackets are gone, but I think we've got the armbands still.
The armbands are there, yeah. When all hope is lost. But yeah, you think the game in hand against Grimsby, go on and lose that, and then you've got the Salford game where anything but a Salford win and you're still in pretty good shape. And obviously the week goes completely against us, a lot of it for our own fault, which we will come on to talk about the Grimsby game. This is review and preview, we should have mentioned. How did you feel on full time? Were you echoing those feelings, or had I just kind of believed the Bromley hype a bit too much for expectations?
I think you're right. It's been a hard week, hasn't it, basically? We're at that stage of the run-in where the other games that involve us are as equally as important as our own games now. And I realise that other people will disagree with that, because we can win the 2 and we'll be fine. And there's this whole narrative we shouldn't be reliant on other teams, which I know we'll get into. I'm not sure I fully buy the whole don't be reliant on other teams. It's not about relying on them. I just know that, we're sat on the number of points now that got Bradford promoted last year. So I feel like it's not that we've done enough and we can coast it, because we obviously can't. And we're competing in the division we're competing in, and other teams have needed 85 or 86 points to get promoted. But we just have consistently been a very good team this year for, 80% of the season. We started a bit slow. And we've just got to get back to that as soon as possible. I think if you're looking for things to be, I guess, enthusiastic about, Neil Harris is the guy, right? He's the right person, I think, you're almost now not ignoring everything that's happened before, you're acknowledging it in terms of the good, the indifferent and the bad. And we just have now a 2 cup finals, whatever cliche you need it to be. We just have 2 very important football matches in the sort of context of the entire season. And we just got to ignore, literally, I would be pushing away everything that's just gone on, all the other results, any mistakes that have been made, individuals, last minute goals conceded, and just focus on what should be a straightforward task, which is beating Barrow at home on Saturday. And if you win that game and 1 or 2 of the other results, looking a bit more favourable from the other games, obviously all early kickoffs pretty much around us, which is interesting, then the mood will change. I mean, the closer you get to the end of the season, the quicker the mood changes, the bigger the swings in the mood changes. So yeah, I was with you. I felt pretty flat Thursday night after, around the full time whistle when Salford went 2-0 up. Also did that really funny thing that I don't know if it's just me or everyone, but even though there's only one game happening, still find yourself looking at the league table about 5, 6, 7, 8 times,
I
even
know.
though you pretty much
Yeah.
exactly what it's going to look like. You're like, yeah, okay, that is pretty much what it looks like, right? At least 3 times I looked at the league table like, right, shit.
Can I tell you what I kept doing, which probably didn't help my mood, is I kept looking at it going, oh, what if we had just seen out both those Easter games? What if we had done that? What if we
Yeah,
had what if we
I
had even
get,
just seen out the Cheltenham game, which is the one that keeps coming back to plague me. And I know
yeah.
you're absolutely right in what you
Well,
said that
the other teams will be doing it. The other teams will
correct.
be have got their own
So,
version of it.
well,
Whether or not we're
Salford will look
yeah
at they drew 0-0 at home to Gillingham 2 weeks ago. They'll be looking at that going, well, 2 extra points, and they're firmly in the driving seat, right?
yeah. I don't know though. It's interesting, and obviously we don't monitor the other games enough to, I guess, have that perspective because maybe they're 0-0. They feel the same way I do as like Barnet away. Like Barnet away for us wasn't a missed opportunity, right?
No.
We never got off the driveway. It was like it just didn't happen for us at all. So it's funny how we're looking at some of the game. Cheltenham is pretty galling, but it is a draw away. You would normally be thinking like that's actually fine. It's how the results are meshing together at the moment that's the problem. The nature and the frequency of late goals conceded is obviously has become a bit of an issue. Individual errors is becoming a bit of an issue. And the sort of things that you just need to hope, to be honest, just need to hope we put them away for 7 days basically, and just find a way just to be clinical and consistent. And so much of this comes all the way back to summer recruitment and not having the striker and just not putting games away. That it is that it's not that I feel sorry for Jake Eastwood. We're going to come on to that. Obviously, it's its own line item, but there are so many of these situations. I was surprised after Grimsby how much chat there was about Eastwood, which I sort of understand when Ben Knight had missed a penalty, if that makes sense. If you score that penalty, I just think you just have hit the release valve. I'm not sure Grimsby even get one goal if they're 2-0 down. I think the game is just like gone. And again, this isn't me piling on Ben Knight. It's just almost about spread it around a little bit. It was like make sure the whole team is accountable for these situations because it's not solely Eastwood's fault what happened on Tuesday night. Almost every goalkeeper error, unless they're an absolute howler, there's something else going on anyway in the build up. Like, could we block it better? Corey
Well,
Smith gives the ball away in the build up for this one, for example. Brophy, I actually don't buy this, but a few people around were saying Brophy could have closed down a bit sharper. I was like, I'm not sure really. But it's like Gibbons flicks the header. It's not a great header. Like, there's tons going on around that means that it isn't specifically a Jake Eastwood thing. The issue with Eastwood is that we've now got a handful, let's say, and that's maybe being generous, of errors that have occurred all since last sort of
start
4
of
or 5
April.
weeks,
Yeah.
basically, which is
Yeah.
that's not good. Like, it sounds daft again, but if you spread that out over the course of the season, you're a bit more protected. But when they're coming with such a high frequency, obviously it's becoming a bit of a headline issue.
And I think also to sort of extend that point a bit further, and it's not in the excuse of the mistakes that Jake Eastwood's made because they have been extremely costly. That isn't at all the point. It's more that there is other problems in this squad. And if you think about the Cheltenham game, you think Louis Appere, the chance he has on 60 minutes of that game, you think that's a massive chance to put us 2 goals ahead in a huge game. Look at the Swindon game. Think about the amount of chances we had in that game to tuck it away. Ben Knight against Grimsby, you're right. And it's not to put individual blame at all these people's door. It's the fact that all these things are happening in combination right now is why we really find ourselves in the problem we're in. And with Eastwood, I was just glancing through his career. I'm pretty sure it's the only time in his career he'll have been in a sort of pressure situation like this. I mean, actually, like he's really not that experienced a guy when you go and look through his
No.
career path at all. I mean, he had those 28 games at Grimsby last year, but I'm not sure they were in any. I think maybe they had an outside sniff at the playoffs, but it wasn't like this sort of you are the chased position that we've been in the last couple of weeks, and that mentality maybe is something that the coaching staff need to get right with him, because it might be something that's playing into everything. Just before we come on to really talk about that Grimsby game in a bit more detail, back to the run in for a second. Confidence levels ahead of Saturday. You're right to say that because it's in our hands and because we really just need to focus on ourselves. The other games maybe aren't of as prime importance as they have been in other weeks. But just to sort of recap what's going on around us, MK play Tranmere at home, Grimsby play Swindon away, or Swindon play Grimsby away. They're both the early kicks, so we'll know by kickoff what's going on in those games. That probably means that MK will be too far out of reach, I imagine. Oh no, not necessarily. Sorry, they're only 4
I'm not
points.
sure about.
Yeah,
I'm
no, maybe
100%
not.
not sure about that because I
No, maybe
think
not.
Tranmere might be doing that end of season buoyancy thing. I feel like that maybe I'm just totally making it up just to make myself feel better, but just got a weird feeling that Tranmere now, it's like they do a weird thing when they win their last. They also beat Cheltenham last time out away, which is a really good result for them and basically puts them safe. Just got a funny feeling that they will do something at MK.
Do you know? Do you
I
know who?
just saw,
Do you know who recently held MK to a draw at MK?
who's that?
Your friends of mine, Barrow.
Barrow. Well, there you go. Oh shit.
Shit, yeah.
But I don't know why. And this could obviously, I mean, I look like I look a bit crazy predicting this, but I did say that Barrow would beat Bromley the other week, and that did happen. So I've got form for picking these bottom of the table teams, and they're turning
What?
up. And obviously, I'm later going to predict that we'll beat Barrow. So this
Yeah,
could come
yeah,
full
yeah. It's a
circle
bit
quite
of
hard. But
was it called cognitive dissonance, where you
that's
like
it. Yeah,
believe one
just
thing to be
switching my
true for
brain
one,
off.
but yeah.
Yeah, but like I've just got a weird feeling that Tranmere might do something at MK. It's partly built on this weird belief. I just got a feeling we'll go to Crewe and we could finish fourth, but we could also still win the league somehow. And
So
I just think it's going to be I just think based on everything that's happened in the last few weeks, it's just building up to something really dramatic. Hopefully, obviously, that ends positive for us. But just, obviously, we're not choosing to do this way. If you just have it done weeks ago, but just does feel like I don't know. I've just got this innate feeling we will get it done, but we'll get it done in like the most uncomfortable, unpleasant, painful, and dramatic. And ultimately, that will make for like fantastic theatre if it goes down the way we're
well,
talking about.
can I add another wrinkle into this, which is
Yeah,
the
go
other
for it.
fixture that's of importance is Col U playing Notts County, who I know we're kind of. I think there's definitely a bit of in the last couple of weeks I've removed Notts County from the equation, but in the exact same way that I removed Salford from the equation a few weeks ago.
Bring them back.
But I'm not bringing him back, but what I am saying is that, I mean, Col U are 13th. They're absolutely on the beach. I think if Notts go there, I think Jatta's back for them as well. If they go there and win, say we win, there's a realistic chance we could finish between first and fifth on final day.
That's crazy, isn't it?
It's crazy.
Fifth also feels quite bad because your likelihood of that being, especially if Notts have won, your likelihood of that being Grimsby
Mm,
is getting high at that point. And I feel like Grimsby are that team that
the one to avoid.
no one really wants.
Yeah.
Like you basically, I mean, if it must be playoffs, and it's worth pointing out playoffs, considering I predicted us to finish 14th, is still a really good outcome. And we'll also all have to be telling ourselves this.
Yeah,
It'll be a
yeah.
funny train journey home from Crewe. We're like, well, playoffs, might go to Wembley. In amongst sort of 20 minutes periods of silence, just heads down. Um, you just don't want Grimsby. You really want Swindon. I reckon
Yeah.
if Swindon can somehow hold on, I feel Swindon are going to fall all the way out. If they lose to Grimsby on
Well,
Saturday, you've got a really bad feeling for Swindon that they're dropping all the way out the playoffs.
yeah, I agree. Well, look, let's see. Let's not do too much playoffs chat, because I think we should still be that top three should still be all we're talking about.
Yeah.
Um, let's rewind a bit to Tuesday night then. Let's do a bit of this. Not that many people will have huge appetite to massively dissect what was in the end a very disappointing evening, but 2-1 loss at home to Grimsby, only the second time we've lost at home all season. What were your takeaways from this one in general?
Bad timing, for the home
Yeah.
run to end. So I thought we played pretty well. Like I think in Grimsby, they are probably. I mean, they might not actually be top of the form table, but they certainly feel like they must be one of the form teams in the division. Yeah, they're third in that 5-game form table. Obviously, this is after playing us. They looked pretty good. They were really on it. was there a moment where I was feeling like I really wish we'd played them in the original slot, which I think was January, when they were totally on
Mm.
their arse?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
And
we
we were
can't
flying
control.
as well. God,
Yeah, we were
I hadn't
flying.
thought
Yeah,
about that.
can't control the weather. Even the original redo of the fixture, I think, would have been handy. But fair play to Grimsby, they've used their internationals, their non-playing internationals, have found them a way to push it all the way back. It's obviously worked for them. I thought we played pretty well. Like, I think particularly first half, I know we went behind, but I think we looked like we were quite on it. I think we were. It was just quite entertaining actually the first half, just for as a football match. And you felt like we showed quite a lot of character to get ourselves back into the game. And I was feeling fairly optimistic at half time. I feel like we started second half really well. Built up some good pressure, obviously all kind of culminated in winning the penalty. Yeah, I mean the pen's that's paying that, isn't it?
Do you know that? Do you know what was odd about the pen as well? Was after once it was saved, there was just this like eerie silence. It wasn't even like a real reaction to it in the ground. It felt there was just this like, oh, all right,
Well, I
oh,
mean, obviously, like big sold out Tuesday night, which is great, but most of the people in that stadium have seen or probably work, operate with Cambridge United for a number of years. I just think the gravity of what that means.
that's what I mean. It's
I just
just
think that around you, a lot of people knowing, having just missed that penalty, sort of feeling almost certain at that point we're going to lose that game, which
mm,
is what that sounded like and felt like because I don't know. We just don't create. Obviously, we know this all season long, so thematic. We just don't create very many chances. So missing a penalty, which is not something we've made a habit of, is worth pointing out. And Ben Knight's been terrific with his penalties.
correct.
So all of
And,
that is worth acknowledging. He's taken every other penalty he's taken has been
and
like,
two really clutch ones at home in the last
yeah,
minute against
yeah. So
Shrewsbury and
like,
Crewe, which has to be mentioned here because it's that pen on Tuesday is the aberration, not the rule. If
yeah,
you
yeah.
know what I mean.
I'm not critiquing
No.
specifically. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say why didn't he put it in the top corner. You know what I mean? Like it's a bit reductive
But
to
why
say.
didn't he put it in the top corner?
Well, I mean, he had a. The only thing I will say is that normally I feel like because he's put a few down the middle
Yeah.
area. This is a bit of a prem. You see, there's some of the prem academy thinking. All I will say, and this is my very unqualified, no badges opinion, is it doesn't look like he sits the keeper down. It
Mm,
looks almost like like if you're going to go down the middle, I feel like there's got to be a bit of a sort of stuttery run up to show the keeper. You know what I mean? You've got to. Where's the trickery? Like sit the keeper down, and then you look great when you roll the ball into the middle of the goal. I don't like to see a penalty saved with feet. That's
mm,
not good. That's
yeah,
never
yeah,
going to be good. If a keeper's saving a penalty with his feet, something's gone a little bit wrong.
yeah. But
Um,
but probably the last person who needs to hear this is Ben Knight himself because he will know all of that and he'll be by what Harris was saying in the presser, he sounded absolutely devastated afterwards. Felt like he'd let everyone
uh,
down.
of course, yeah,
Um,
yeah. I mean, I get that as well. And the thing I'll say with Knight is he's had a few, not major setbacks, but he's had a few hurdles or mini setbacks this season, and he's come back like every single time. Like he is just improving all the time as a footballer. He's obviously learning loads. His first proper full season in men's professional football, like easy to forget when the guy's now our top goal scorer, double digits, big moments. You know, he's the heartbeat of our attacking football when things are going well for him. All we want from him now, well, ignore the penalty. It's like just ignore that totally, if you know what I mean, because it's done. Like the thing I like about him is he'll have. I mean, it'll be interesting. We win another pen. He'll have the courage
oh,
to
he'll
step
take
up,
it,
obviously, and do it
100%.
for sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
he'll
yeah,
want to take it as well, and that's what you
yeah.
want. Is like, that's all we need now. Is I don't know. I think you spend a whole season getting yourself in a really promising position, like we have, based on combinations of skill and endeavour and all of that. I think now it's just like it's proper gut check time. It's like don't worry about all of that. Treat these like massive cup games like we come flying out the hurdle on Saturday. We just got to come charging out the blocks like we did against Notts County and just absolutely put Barrow away and just send a message to everyone else in the division and to ourselves, right? It's almost the players like
Mm.
demonstrate, prove that you can do it. It's a weird thing. It should be one of the easier team talks to do on Saturday. Like getting them fired up for that game should not be difficult. I thought we played quite well against Grimsby. It's obviously not bad luck what's happened. But yeah, if you miss a pen, it's obviously a huge opportunity. And then if you make a mistake defending your box right at the end of the game, that's also a problem. again, that pressure has been allowed to build up because we are not putting games away. We are not opening up 2-goal leads in so many football matches that is opening this door. And it's League Two. League Two is a bit wild. You get Bromley's a team of like these giants all over the place. If you're 1-0 up in a League Two or a single goal up in a League Two game, you're just going to be getting this aerial bombardment towards the end of the game. It's hard to defend. It's heavy work. You're on tired legs. You've worked really hard in your performance. We've just got, it's too late now for this season, but we just need to make sure, we need one of the 2 games to be low stress, I would say. Like, make that the Barrow game. Just get your work done at the Barrow game so we can look at that League 10 and be like, right, last day, all in our hands, get them fired up one more time. Because and then we've got to come back to it in summer, and we've just got to look, and obviously we'll do an end of season review pod. Hopefully that comes in the next 10 days and not in the next 3 or 4 weeks.
Not in June.
Yeah. Well, June will be okay because we made the final at least.
Still though, man.
Mid-May is what I really don't want.
I was watching the game with someone last night, and I was like a bit, when they scored the second, I was just like, I just can't be asked for another month. I just like so mentally like ready for this to be done next week. And I'm just sort of like, that bit in my brain's just had to reignite the like, oh God, there's gonna be another 3 weeks of this sort of stringing out this stress. Can I just I wanted to ask this question, and I'll do it through the point that you just made there about not scoring the second goal and not being ruthless enough and maybe not having that cutting edge. I think it's worth having this discussion about Knight, because it's going to sound like I'm digging him out, but I'm not necessarily. I think it's like a critique that I've heard a lot of in the fan base around, especially these April fixtures, is his lack of ruthless finishing, specifically him, in key moments of games, has also cost us points. If we're going to talk about Eastwood making some high-profile blunders, let's say, if you go back to that Swindon game, Knight has a big one-on-one chance in the second half. He has a huge chance against Bromley to put us 1-0 up. Misses a penalty against Grimsby. It's not necessarily to dig him out individually, because I think my personal view is that the guy's in his first proper season playing professional football, really. I think it's something that I'm hoping is a learning curve, and next season we see a much more ruthless side of Ben Knight, and he can sort of add all these things up into an all-round package. But it's kind of on your point, isn't it? Are you seeing, is the thing that, if I ask you why we won't make the top 3, if in a couple of weeks we haven't done it, would you say it's because of individual mistakes by goalkeeper, or because of our lack of ruthless finishing throughout the season, but also in these crunch moments in April?
Yeah, it's more the finishing than the goalkeeping, isn't it? Unless obviously something crazy happens in the last 2 games, which hopefully we're done with that now. This is way different. It's not really a Ben Knight issue, is it? It's the counter argument with Knight is that he's getting himself in these positions on a very high frequency. If he was putting away even half, more than he is now, I'm not sure he'd still be here. Not even sure he'd sign a contract, to be honest. Like, he might even have stayed at Man City if he was too clinical. So there's a reason he's missed a lot of chances, and that's because he's involved in a lot of chances. Other players are not involved in. There's no one else, I would imagine, in our squad who's involved in nearly as many chances as that, if that makes sense. So he's putting himself in really good positions because he's such a talented footballer, great on the half turn, like the chance he gets at Bromley. It's just really like instinctive, like just knows where to put himself. But the finishing, obviously, he'll know this anyway. Just needs to keep working on it, improving it. If he does that, he's probably at least a championship footballer, if not higher. So I think Knight's fine. He's Jermaine Easter had a bit of this during when we got relegated out of League Two.
Lovely to hear his name. Lovely to hear his name.
Always throw it back to Jermaine Easter. Well, Easter missed tons of chances and he was getting so much shit. I think he still scored like 8 or 9 goals in a horrific United team. And he was literally the only person having any attacking impetus whatsoever. I was like, picking on the wrong guy here, basically. Story of the season, we've seen it play out a few times in recent weeks, is exactly this. It's not being clinical. Chance creation is equally as much the problem as putting them away, I think. It's not like we're coming into these games and creating loads and loads of chances, in my opinion. XG in some of these games is still pretty low, so we're not creating loads. And then when we do create, we're probably not still quite clinical enough. it has got better, obviously, over the course of the season. The first few months of the season, it was really bad. The chance creation and taking of chances was really low, which is why we were, seventh, eighth in the table. Again, it's the same thing Harris, I think, said it in the press conference, but every challenge this team has had, we've found a way to solve the problem or overcome it. We've had injuries, we've had, hard runs of form, particularly earlier on in the season, away form, question mark. All of it has been there, and we've managed to find a way. We've got one more problem, I think, to solve and to figure out. We've just got to get it done in the next 2 games, basically.
Yeah, agreed. We do have to talk about Jake Eastwood specifically for the Grimsby game. I know we touched on it earlier in the pod, and it's kind of the flip of that question. Really, is what we 94th minute of the game, cross comes in. I haven't actually rewatched the highlights since Wednesday morning, but Eastwood comes for it, misses it. It sort of bounces off the Grimsby player and rolls in. Is how I see it. There's a little flick from Gibbons on the way through.
Kind of never gets it, does he? Never gets
No,
there. It's
no. How are you seeing it?
I think mentally it's a similar mistake to the Notts County one, which obviously not many people. It didn't cost us any points. It doesn't get spoken about tons, if you know what I mean. But it's this kind of I guess it's decision making. I'm obviously not a goalkeeper for several reasons. One really obvious one, but I imagine it's tough. It has to be hard because you're making split second decision. And that's it. And what I will say for Eastwood is once he's made a decision, he does at least commit to it. So he sticks with it. You never see him getting caught halfway between one or the other. But in this instance, I guess the decision making is not great. He's gone for a ball that I think he has very little chance of getting to. And we've seen him before. He's quite effective at clearing out even his own players, which is what he needs to be doing in that situation. He's got to just. I think if you're a keeper there and you're attacking a ball that's coming to around the edge of your 6-yard box, everyone in front of you's got to go. If you know what I mean, you're cleaning everybody out and you're just making sure you put something on the ball. It doesn't have to be a catch, just anything on the ball to divert it. And I just don't think he cleans anyone out really, or gets nearly close enough to the ball to justify coming out. And it's just a decision-making mistake. And obviously, I think more times than not in football, you do get away with that sort of thing. Unfortunately for him, it's the 94th minute of a huge kind of promotion game where the ramifications of it are pretty enormous. So, yeah, it's bad. And obviously we're looking at a series of mistakes now, unfortunately. But you have to look season long. That's what I was saying to you before we started recording. There's like, the situation we're in at the moment, there's a zoomed in and a zoomed out view. And the zoomed out view is kind of reassuring. It's like, look, Eastwood's been one of the best keepers in the division in a team with a incredibly mardy defensive record. Built on great defenders in front of him, but also he's had really big moments. He's made a ton of big saves. Even in that Grimsby game, he's made a really good
first half.
Really good save. You can make a case say he saved us the drama by doing it that way. He saved us a goal doing that. Obviously, that is his job, without going too Roy Keane postman. Anyway, I mean, there's the zoomed out view of the whole season, which is, look, we've done enough all season. We are where we are. It is in our hands. Eastwood's been one of the best keepers in the division. It's been a surprise because he came obviously not well rated. It's been a pleasant surprise. And then there's the zoomed in view where you're suddenly looking and you're reacting to, the last 2-3 weeks and thinking, God, this team has developed a nasty habit of not quite getting things over the line and frankly bottling it, like just bottling really good situations and just
taking us half an hour to say it, but I'm glad you said it. Just as
well,
we are.
No, we have though. And
a little bit.
I don't want to go in on them, and it will sound terrible if you just clip this in isolation, if you know what I mean. But and I'm seeing loads of this on the message board at the moment. It's what I call like false pragmatism. Do you know what I mean? Like practice pragmatism. Which is totally is so distant from what being a football fan is and should be. People who are desperate to pull you out of your sort of mind state and go, oh, but we, look at how we've been all season. And it's so like, it's disrespectful, I think, almost to like, there's a balance right between the two. I'm not talking about a wild panic, but I'm just saying it's fine and fair to look at the last few weeks and to think it's not good enough, whilst acknowledging, on the other hand, that the team has been brilliant. They've performed above expectations for almost everyone all season. Some players have come in and proven us wrong, and I would include like Gibbons in that, where it was a bit like jury's out. Eastwood's been brilliant. Even Apre is getting a bit of stick lately. His contribution, when you measure, you zoom out and you look at it season long, you're thinking he's got some goals. He's been involved. He played really well on Tuesday night.
I was just going to say, sorry, I don't want to go away from the Grimsby game without saying how well he did for the first goal, and it was a really nicely put together move for the first goal in general, and the penalty. Yeah, it's worth saying because we criticise the guy. Yeah,
obviously don't get an assist for assisting an assist.
Yeah,
but the weight of his pass to Adam Mayer, brilliant cross, is perfect. So, and his link-up play there is perfect. His link-up play for the penalty win is also perfect. So,
if we're going to sit here and criticise him, as we rightly have done plenty of times, that had to be worth saying in this pod. I'd have felt bad if we hadn't. Yeah.
But the worry, the genuine overriding worry right now, and I don't want to doomsday anyone, ruin anyone's Friday. It's a nice sunny Friday at least. So, if you know what I mean, is if the next two games don't go quite how we want them to, it's almost immaterial what we've done all season long, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I know we'll still be in the playoffs, and I know that's a good result, but it's going to take a hell of a lot of picking ourselves up off the floor for that to be the case, rightly or wrongly. And there will be, again, it is important to stay positive. Like we've given ourselves a really good chance of getting promoted. Even if we don't get automatics, we're still a very hard team to beat. That will stand us in good stead in a playoff campaign. But I just don't even want to be talking about playoffs. Like just...
No,
it's fine. It's fine to have both opinions that we have had a very bad couple of weeks when you look at the results and the performances. Well, not performances, more the results, to be honest. But also to say that we've had a good sort of overall season. It's a zoomed in and zoomed out.
Yeah.
The zoomed in view is horrible right now.
I think it's completely fair to say that Eastwood's been a vital cog in a machine who's performed 100%. Above expectations for 90% of the season, but in April has single-handedly cost us some crucial points. And whether that's an experience, a mindset, a mentality thing, I don't know. But both things can be true at once.
I think he's unlucky. Like I know there's a skill thing, but there is just it's unfortunate for him that it's all kind of come together in April, if that makes sense. Like,
I just don't think that's a coincidence. And
no, maybe you're right.
I just don't think the way it happens is a coincidence. And again, maybe I need to apply the same thinking that I've got with Knight, that he'll be better off for it next season, whichever division we're in. And I don't want to get into like squad building for next season, but I guess it's one of those things where you sign a guy like Eastwood who hasn't been in this situation before, and it's probably something that's maybe in the back of your minds, or hopefully in the back of like the recruitment team's mind. Look, we should move on to Barrow, because we'll have plenty of time to dissect all these different parts about the season and review April in loads of detail at some point in May, hopefully next week. Hopefully, in the next 10 days. But let's start with a Barrow preview. George's been chatting to the Given Beans podcast.
Right then, news fans, it is time to find out a little bit more about Saturday's opponents. Joining us, Barrow fan and part of the Given Beans fan scene and pod, we have Johnny. Johnny, thank you for finding the time to chat to us today.
No, it's a pleasure. You look, I'm still here, and I'm not sat in a dark corner somewhere contemplating my own existence.
It's a big day on Saturday for both of us for different reasons. How are you feeling about Saturday?
Well, as you do when you're in a relegation battle, or you're in a playoff contention or automatics, as you guys are, you become experts in playing out every different scenario and doing the maths around every possible
permutations.
Yeah, this is it. It's kind of, in many ways, you kind of miss that when it's gone. I do like that about like I say, a battle of this nature. It wasn't so much riding on it. It's quite an enjoyable experience from that sense, from an analytical point of view. But everybody really, when they're doing the calculations this weekend, I think everyone's factoring us in us going to Cambridge and getting absolutely nothing. So this weekend, therefore, becomes more about the games going on around us in that relegation battle. We don't really feel masters of our own destiny. We did up until a ball was kicked on Saturday against Walsall, but now that's passed, and we're Tranmere winning on Tuesday. We're probably relying on getting out of there and getting it over and done with, other results going our way, and then looking for something on that last day in that all-important game against Newport, and probably needing a couple of snookers as well. So yeah, everyone's kind of writing our chances off, and I suppose it'd be interesting from your perspective. I mean, whether you're at the bottom of the table or at the top of the table, the pressure's the same. We both got everything riding on this game. The difference is that you're a good side. And when I start to think of potential opportunity we might have on Saturday, it's probably down to the fact that you guys are going to be as nervous as us. And if we can play on that and frustrate you guys, and maybe sold out stadium can start to go against you a little bit rather than doing for you.
Well, hopefully not. Hopefully not. We've had a few nervy ones already, especially when it gets into stoppage time, as I told your podcast. Yeah, you mentioned it. Last game of the season, you're at home to Newport. That could be an absolutely massive game, right? I mean, how do you think you'll be feeling going into next weekend if this weekend goes okay, in the sense that Newport lose to Oldham and Harrogate don't get points against Walsall? You've all got all three got tough games, so it's
we have, and they're all tough. I mean, people are expecting us in some ways to beat Walsall after that good win against Oldham, and we have been sort of all right since Foley took over. I mean, with the exception of that terrible loss to Grimsby, which just knocked our goal difference into the reserve, as we like to say. We had a great win against Bromley. We then followed that up with a draw against MK Dons away, which I'm sure you guys were watching with a keen eye. And then we narrowly lost out to Chesterfield. Again, we made a terrible mistake and cost us the game where we should have really got a point. Then we again got a narrow defeat away at Barnet, who were one of the best sides in the league based upon recent form. And then we get that win against Oldham, and then we have that terrible performance against Walsall. So we're kind of just looking at it now thinking that's our only really hope, if we can go into that last game and we've got something to play for. But there is every possibility we can get relegated on Saturday if we lose, and if Crawley and pick up a point, and if Newport win, then that's us done. That's us back to the non-league.
Those games that you just mentioned, getting a draw against MK Dons, going close against Chesterfield, that's worrying for me. Talk to me about what happened on those games that you were, got a point against MK Dons, you're competitive against Chesterfield. What kind of things happened from a Barrow perspective that enabled that? And
I think, well, first of all, we started to go forward at the back. I can't remember exactly if that was in both games, because we have reverted back to a back three. Worked against Oldham in dramatic style, but it was awful again the weekend. Potentially we'll go back to that back four where we had some success, certainly in frustrating teams and being hard to score past. Because to be honest, I mean, that's been the reason why we are where we are. We've been very, very easy to score past. It can just happen in a moment. But the MK Dons game and the Chesterfield one, with the exception of that mistake, we found a way to become difficult to beat again. And I think that's all credit to MJ Williams, who's probably the guy you should be watching out for when he plays at the back, because he's a bit utility at times. When we've got injuries, he'll step in, at the back. But really, we want him in front of that defence. And if he's got a chance to be that on Saturday, he can really be the guy who can turn a game not so much in our favour, but really frustrate opposition and make them ask more questions.
So he normally plays in the back three, but sometimes he plays in front of the back three. Is that right?
He's been pulled. His natural position is in the middle of midfield, but he gets pulled into the defence, depending on injuries, which I think we'll still have at the weekend, depending if Ragland's fit, which he was on the bench last Saturday. But I think that's it. And I think what Sam Foley's done with this side is he's, rather than over-engineer everything, which I think the previous managers tried to do, and install probably too much on a team that wasn't really capable of absorbing that and doing anything. What Foley's just done as a teammate and as an excellent professional we absolutely adore, he's just reminded them of who they are, where they are, and and trying finding them to find ways to enjoy football again, because it's been an awful season, and he has done a little bit of that. So I don't know, it's there's no expectation, and hope is a bit gone now, but there's certainly opportunity there for us, I think, to frustrate you guys.
You mentioned one name there, so Williams, sort of, midfield or in defence. Any other names that could, Cambridge fans should be keeping an eye on as potential people that could influence the game either at the back or going forward?
Yeah, I think a lot rides on Charlie McCann. If he has a good game, we tend to play well. If he has a bad game, we tend to do absolutely nothing because he is our technical style of player who can help us unlock certain things. We have a big gap between the defence and our attacking players. So what we tend to do is just kind of bypass the midfield when we get desperate. If we get our midfield involved in the game, so if Scott Smith, if Charlie McCann and MJ Williams, if that is the midfield, or Raheem Harper, it's going to be some version of them four. If we start seeing them with the ball and start seeing them do things, and that's where Cambridge should probably think, well, this isn't going to be as easy as we thought. If you start seeing Barrow just sit back, get desperate, lob it up to the front, then you'll probably know you're going to get something at some point because we'll just fold with that type of tactic. And that's our kind of, our comfort zone in many ways, which is our uncomfortable zone, which we seem to revert back to a lot.
One of the questions we always ask is, if you were doing a scouting report for Cambridge, where would you identify weaknesses? So a moment ago, you said you're easy to score past. So I wondered if you could elaborate on why exactly you think that is. Like, where do you think the weaknesses are in your team that's allowing the easy to score past against?
Yeah, well, for me, the three at back has been absolutely disastrous. I think it's a formation that only ever works if you've got brilliant wing backs. What we have is two brilliant wide attacking players in Ben Whitfield and Elliot Newby, who's a local Barrow lad, as is the goalkeeper Will Stanway, who's the brother of Georgia Stanway, the England's women's international starlet. We've played these attacking players in these wing back positions, and they're just incapable of tracking back and closing down that space in them bottom corners. If we play free at the back and Cambridge can get into that areas and get balls into the box, that's how you're going to score your goals. There's no two ways about that. For some reason, we just haven't even. We've never signed a fullback. No one really gets why that is. And we're asking really good attacking players to track back and buy, and it gets us in this kind of no man's land, really, where we just get caught out constantly. So they're the areas right in the corners with balls into the box.
Yeah. How do you see Saturday panning out? What kind of game are you expecting?
Well, like I said before, I'm expecting a Cambridge win, and with I'm going to have one eye on this game and one eye on the other games. It's a tough one for you guys. Obviously, it's a big game tonight. We're recording this on Thursday. Salford play tonight. That's going to
just kicking off, isn't it? Yeah,
that's going to have a different dynamic to the game. From a Barrow perspective, my hope is that we can stay in the game until around mid-second half, and then you guys start to get a little bit, a bit nervous, and your game plan falls apart a little bit, and we can exploit that. And we'll have a decent away crowd in there. It'll be small, but it'll be noisy. It's a really nice little away stand where you can make a bit of noise, even with a small group of supporters. So I think if we can frustrate, we can get to that point and maybe just nick something, which we're capable of. Josh Gordon's got goals in him. Danny Rose has got goals in him. We can get goals from the midfield. As well as some big guys who can get into the box if we can nick corners and stuff. So yeah, it's more a hope that we can frustrate you guys and maybe nick something or come away with a draw. What my expectation is, I think we're probably going to get beat around about 2-0 on Saturday.
I was going to ask you a score prediction. I'd take 2-0. No, thank you.
One thing I will say, one thing I will say, I think Cambridge actually always won though, because if I remember when one of your guys came onto our podcast just before you played us at Holker Street, you were pretty awful. I think you were struggling that first part of the season, didn't really have much to say for yourself. Your away record at the time was terrible, and ever since beating us, you've really kicked on and now become an automatic promotion candidate. So you always won, actually. So
and how are you feeling for the rest of the season? Do you hold out much hope for taking it to the final day and staying up? What's your gut telling you?
I mean, it's hard not to be pessimistic. I'm a typical Northerner in that sense. I feel like Newport are going to beat Oldham. Oldham we took advantage of the fact that they just ran out of legs. You know, they pushed and pushed and pushed and had an amazing run, but they might have come to the end of their journey and therefore might be, well, there for the taking. Crawley have got a kind of feeling that Accrington could do something there on Saturday, and their away record's terrible. It could see a point there. If them things happen and Harrogate don't win, then we go into last day. And if we go to last day, it does get really interesting because we've got Newport at home, obviously, which, you know, they're not a great side. They're down there because they're as bad as us. And then the interesting thing becomes that, let me get this right, I think
Salford will be at Crawley.
Salford, yeah. So, and Harrogate have got Barnet. So on paper, you know, we might have potentially the best fixture of the day. So it gets interesting. It's a good watch for any neutral. It's going to be drama on that last day. Hopefully we're involved in it. It's impossible to have hope. We're all out of that. You know, and it's been a season where it's just been extracted from us as we've just got worse and worse and worse rather than, you know, fight from the bottom. We just trickled down to the point where we are.
Johnny, there's a part of me that wants to ask why it's got worse, but I'm not sure I want to. I'm not sure I want to keep your evening going that way.
I can probably answer that. In we are probably just an accumulation of all of our shortcomings, and the reality is, as much as we wanted to try and be a sustainable football league club, we've struggled with that. Not just from a financial position. Obviously the ground, which everyone's well aware of, we love it, we adore it. It's also we romanticise about it, but it's not the best experience for supporters at this level. We appreciate that. We're trying to do our best with it, but then the personnel, you know, the way the club's set up is from an organisational structure, it just pulls apart from the rest. And at some point, if we didn't address all them things, this was going to happen, and we're going to make mistakes on top of mistakes. And that's come with recruitment, manager after manager, constantly trying to throw stuff at the wall and hope some sticks. And we are where we are. That's the reality.
Johnny, I wish you the best for that final day. I hope you don't get the result on Saturday, obviously, but I wish you the best for the final day and staying up.
Nice one. Cheers. Thanks very much.
Fantastic name, fantastic preview. Thanks very much to both of them for doing that. Let's start with the presser. I just watched this just before recording. No indications on injuries. I've noticed week on week, Harris keeping his cards closer and closer on injuries and basically just now not saying anything at all about anyone and the fitness level of anyone. He seemed in good spirits. I don't know if you had a chance to watch it. He seemed almost like really trying to be jovial and seemed relaxed. I think he genuinely did seem quite relaxed, to be fair. I guess, is this one of those positives? You touched on this earlier. A guy with his experience at this, well, actually, to be honest, at levels higher than this, being in these situations before, could be a huge trump card for us in this battle.
Yeah, I hope you're right. I've not watched it, but I'm glad to hear he's feeling upbeat. It's one of those funny things when your mood is bad around Cambridge United, my ability to consume the content just drops right through the floor, if you know what I mean. Just disappears almost. So it's almost like I just don't want to think about United. It's so hard when you do your podcast. Don't want to think about United until I absolutely have to.
Wait, don't worry, that's matched in our listening stats. So don't worry, everyone feels the same.
God. I'm glad to hear he's upbeat. Yes, he has a load of experience. It should stand us in good stead. I hope part of that experience extends to him realising we've got to play 5 at the back. Because 4 at the back, we also didn't mention from Tuesday night. Why don't we abandon that now, Neil? Like, why don't you just walk that one back for the next 2 weeks? You can be right about it all summer long, and you can do it all next season if you want. If you promise just to go 5 at the back.
I was going to bring it up. I was going to bring that point up here because, as you'll have heard in that preview, George's sort of main takeaway from it was that Barrow's main weakness is from out wide. So George says he expects us to stick with the 4-2-3-1, which we played on Tuesday night. And it's funny, Matt, because we were on the train up with Ali from Not the Top 20, and we had a lovely night with him. And obviously, if you're a Coconut Team member, you can go and listen to the hour-long pod that we did with him on Wednesday, where there's a bit more chat about Grimsby and the Bromley games, and also the general run-in and League Two in general, under theabbeystand.com to find that and all the other Coconut Tier stuff. Anyway, back to the point, is that we were on the train down with him, and he was asking about us playing 3/5 at the back. And we were saying, yeah, but he hates it and he's desperate to play four at the back. And then as soon as we walk in the ground, we were like, look, he's done it again. No, Neil, he's done it again. Do you expect him to do it again on Saturday?
I think I do. I think I do, and it's not obduracy. I'm sure he's got a reason. And again, I have no badges. I think he has some, probably, and he's got
You might know
experience.
more about football coaching than you.
He
Maybe.
played a few games for Millwall or whatever. Fine, whatever he does with it, whether it's 4 or 5, whatever. I just hope he's dynamic with it. I just hope he's open-minded is all I'll say, and willing to make changes like in the game if we need to. Basically, that's all I'm asking actually now. I mean, preference is play 5 at the back from the start because it worked really well all season. Second best is like if you must start 4. I mean, the thing is, we're talking about Barrow here. I don't want to be dismissive. Barrow at 11-1. Can we talk about that?
Is that the biggest? Do you ever remember a team being that big odds against us? I don't. Off the top of my
Certainly
head.
not in a league fixture. That is crackers. And I'm not saying go all in on Barrow, but like surely
You got to stick something on. That's the emotional hedge, isn't it?
Well, I mean, even Barrow or draw must be like 4, 5, 6.
5-2. It's 5-2. The double chance.
Anyway,
yeah.
God, I'm laughing by the way because we obviously we're going to record last night, and we're like, Tom Walker, he's gone full circle as we expected now, and he's like, we should just win these games, shouldn't we? Walker's calmed down from last night.
Good.
That's good.
Yeah, there's the other thing to mention with Barrow is you look at the 5-game form table, they are bottom of that with 1 win, 1 draw, 3 losses. Away form table, do you want to know where they are in that? Oh, sorry, just the away table. 22nd.
22nd, okay. So
22nd away from home place first in the home form table.
Well, what could go wrong?
What could go wrong?
What could go wrong?
It's actually a really hard game to preview because we should go and win this game at a canter 3-4-0. That is what should happen in this football match. Football doesn't work like that. Cambridge United doesn't work like that. So there's no point trying to analyse it in too much detail beyond the preview you just got there from the Given Beans lads who will
talk to me about who Barrow have not lost to in the last few weeks, I guess.
Well, they're not lost to MK.
Beat Bromley, and they drew with MK away. So there's clearly something. There's clearly something going on.
I mean, look, they're scrapping for everything down there. Which I have to say, if we're going to say that is a factor in the Barrow game, you have to say is a factor, hopefully, in Salford playing Crawley last game of the season, because at the moment
they've got the Lofty,
and they've got the loft factor. But there is a problem there, which is that Crawley play Accrington this weekend, and I think with a win, they're basically, especially if we beat Barrow, they're basically out of it.
Well, they are mathematically out of it.
Unless Harrogate win as well, right?
If that comes to pass, I think. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. I meant more that Crawley with a win.
They'll be basically fine.
They're gone. No, they're gone, I think. Yeah, they would be, I think. Doesn't matter.
If Harrogate win, they'll be on 39. Crawley would be on 41. So there would be a chance still. But
I see. All right.
They've got far better goal difference as well. So they'd probably be fine. But Barrow at the moment are absolutely scrapping. And Barrow played Newport last game of the season. Which 22nd against 23rd.
Yeah, big.
So it is a huge afternoon for Barrow, which I think is a factor in this. I think it's important. How do you think we're going to line up then? You said 4-2-3-1. Do you think he'll change anything about starting lineup? Apare, Nevitt, potentially?
I'm not having the Apare Nevitt stuff. I think it's too late in the season now. I think it's going to be as close to that 11 as possible. I really do. I think the only change you might possibly see, I don't even know who you do to get Brophy in that side for. People saying that Mayer has been looked a little bit off it. I mean by his own like incredibly high standards, but then he has also gone and got himself the assist. So I wonder, I think it might be unchanged. I genuinely think he might make no changes. And we'll see. I don't know, you could call it obduracy, but there's a bit of a logic here, right? Because if you go logical and you think, look, it's Barrow at home, we should just be winning this game. It's a good opportunity in a way to play 4 at the back, even though I don't want it, and to keep the same starting 11. Because theoretically, as we're going out there trying to confidently win that game, like by a 2 or 3 goal margin, and you've rejuvenated that set of players who took a bit of a bruising on Tuesday night, you've got, look, it's absolutely fine. We're going to go to Crewe and we've got this. Do you know what I mean? So I wonder if it's just going to be unchanged. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it'll change anything, honestly. I do think that what we've seen a lot of from Harris, though, is like what you see in his presses, and especially with like injury chat, is he keeps cards very close to his chest. I just wonder if he'll chuck a few surprises in here or there. A Kouassi, a Lavery. I don't know.
Lavery on crutches or something.
Why not? Stick him on the bench. 10 minutes to go.
With a big boot on.
I don't know. Like, definitely against Crewe, no question in my mind. I don't know. McLaughlin, how far off's he? Not mentioned him for a while.
Maybe Barry Core on the bench.
Maybe Barry Core. Maybe Harris.
Maybe Harris. Harris, Core, Lavery. Triple sub with 10 minutes to go when we're 1-0 down against Barrow.
Yeah.
Just send
Absolutely
send
love
them
it.
all on.
Go on, let's have a prediction to wrap up.
I have predicted, I always go with my moose net, 4-0 Cambridge United.
Fantastic.
I do think, well, first of all, we need it. But second, I do just have a feeling they're going to be very fired up. We're going to come out all guns blazing. It's going to be similar to that Notts County game, only we're hopefully without any goalkeeping, red card shenanigans. Yeah. I just feel like we will get that early goal. And I think we will not stop until the doing is done. And we're going to set ourselves up for a really good final day. I really hope, do a swindle. Just manifest it, everyone. Manifest that positivity and just let the 4-0 win just wash over us.
I've got a sort of nerve-wracking prediction, which is that I have said all season that I'm sure there'll be a game. I feel like most promoted sides have a crazy game somewhere in their running.
Oh Lord!
And I think we'll do, like that Salford Notts game the other week. I think we'll win 2-1, but I think Barrow go 1-up quite late, and we turn it around in injury time. And it's obviously amazing, but. I've said it for weeks and weeks. At some point, I just think there's going to be some sort of mad game, and why not it be this one where all the kind of the pressure's on. You're playing a team where you're expected to win, which is often a pretty kind of scary equation, or a bit of a pressurized equation. So that's what I've gone for. We shall see.
Scapasti's on you. Scapasti and pint on you if that.
Absolutely. Well, I think there's half a plan for a happier hour afterwards, which is down at the Old Spring, 6 till 7.
Lovely.
Lovely. Half price pints for our favourite drinking partners and sponsors, the Old Spring, down on Ferry Path by the river in Cambridge.
Mate, we'd hit that happy hour pretty hard if what
I just said happened.
If what you just said happens, then I think we might hit that pretty hard, yeah.
We might ruin the sponsorship deal for next season, in fact.
Is this like avoiding? This is like, in your scenario, is that like Eastwood comes up for a header and scores an equaliser from a corner or something? Redemption arc?
Like the Exeter keeper the other week. Did you see that?
Yeah. Gets the equaliser and then someone scores a winner somehow.
I think we win it with like a 101st minute penalty. And Knight steps up.
Jesus. Right, so you've got Eastwood coming up for a corner like 96.
No, Eastwood wins the pen. Eastwood comes up, wins the pen.
I reckon if Eastwood wins a pen, he's pushing everyone away and he's trying to take it himself. I'm so confident. Do you know what I mean?
Putting everything through it.
Eastwood's winning a pen.
Yeah, right. Eastwood's winning a pen. Knight takes it, rolls it down the middle.
Panenka.
Yeah.
Panenka's it. And then someone goes and scores a winner. Kachunga, maybe.
Oh, wow. We've not mentioned his name
off
in a
the
while.
bench.
My God.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's not get into Kachunga now because we've been recording too long and people have got their Fridays to enjoy. Thanks for joining, mate.
Oh, man. I can't wait for Saturday.
I can.